I'm Mr. Krill, and about 2 years ago, summer, uh, we had a birthday party where my wife's parents came into town, and her dad was there, and we played kickball. I mean, it was just a fun time. And we get a call a few days later that her dad was having stomach pains really bad, went to the ER. Next thing we know, he's checked into the hospital in critical condition, and they don't know if he's going to make it. And they live in Tennessee, and we live in Heartland, right around here. And so, of course, initially we're all panicking and freaking out. We put my wife on on a flight to Tennessee that day, and that's just out of nowhere. So, I had a 3-year-old at the time. And so all of a sudden, Grandpa's really sick, Mommy's got to fly to Tennessee, and you guys are going to be at home. And this is our first thought, but then once she was there, things just got worse and worse. He had so many issues that eventually he went into a coma. And he stayed in a coma for, I want to say it was like 2.5 months. So we started with an emergency situation where we're sending my wife out there because they don't know if he'll make it through the week. And all of a sudden, the week goes into a month and into 2 months, and that's a really long time to have someone in a coma, in a hospital, when you're on a day-to-day basis trying to make it through, and the grieving and the shock. And so it was a really difficult time because what we ended up doing is my son and me drove to Tennessee. We stayed in the parents' house while her mom and her sisters and her are at the hospital. My 3-year-old is like, when's Grandpa going to be better? When's Mom going to be home for lunch? Is Mom going to have breakfast with us today? And I'm in the middle of all this. I'm feeling just as much pain as everyone else. I'm freaking out about my father-in-law might or may not make it. My wife is obviously in an emotional state, and we're all just kind of waiting for something to happen. And things move really slowly. It's like you get these day-to-day updates where, not a lot has changed. He's stable. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We're going to try this. Oh, this happened. Looking really bad today. And it was just really, really a tough time for everybody. And how I got through it was, I just, at some point you reach a point where you're like, there's so many things that are out of our control. I can't control what the doctors do. I can't control what my father-in-law is going to do. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. But I started to find that there were things that I could control. I started to make a commitment that I was going to make sure that we visited the hospital once a day. I was going to make sure that my son had an okay day with Dad. We went to the zoo, we went to the children's museum. We started planning all these fun adventures. I made sure to bring healthy food and snacks to the hospital for my wife and her sisters and mother-in-law, because when you're living off that hospital cafeteria food day in, day out, your body starts to take a toll. They're not getting a lot of sleep. They're not getting a lot of healthy food. So I just really, I tried to find my place and really focus on the little things that I could do to make the situation better. And what it ended up doing for me personally is it kind of kept me stable. I was able to handle the questions from my son about, is Grandpa going to make it, without going into tears, because I felt like, I was doing what I could and staying on top of things and trying to be positive about what I could control. In the end, I would say, you're not alone, because I did have the support that I needed in terms of I was with family. We were all there together. We were all sharing stories about Grandpa and doing the things and talking about, the fun times we've had with him, and sort of just everyone was just kind of grieving and coping and getting on day to day, waiting for something to happen. Miraculously, he pulled through it, and he just helped me fix the roof of my house a few weeks ago. So it's just complete, going from he's probably going to die. We were planning his funeral. He was labeled do not resuscitate, which means if anything else happened, they would just let him die, to now he's walking, talking, fixing roofs with me. So happy ending to a very tragic time, but again, I just remember that you are not alone. Everyone's going through this with you, and there's little things that I can do to focus on that can help me to get through the day.